Hey everyone, welcome to the Fireside Chat number 25 on Crushing Classical, redefining a thriving classical music career. I'm Tracy Friedlander, and today we continue the conversation on productivity and managing your life into the realm of people management. You have people in your life, we all do, and they are all demanding things from you daily. Whether you have a partner, spouse, girlfriend or boyfriend, kids, or even just your friends, they all want something from you. How do you navigate this when you want to get things done? What if you want to create something even more in your life and you need extra time? Finding this time is crucial to your success, and it does exist. This topic is hitting close to home for me as I'm learning how to do this right now. To be honest, this was a tough conversation for me to have. On the call, I look into my life in real time and I see what I'm doing and not doing to ensure that I have a productive day. When you listen, think about where you aren't controlling your surroundings and how you can use some of the guidelines we talk about to maximize your time. Before we begin, a couple of quick things. Please join the conversation at facebook.com/crushingclassical as well as Crushing Classical on Instagram. If you love our content, it would really mean the world to us for you to comment and share it with your classical musician friends and colleagues. Let's get started.
Okay.
Hey, Eileen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. So today, we are continuing the conversation about essentially controlling your environment. Last time we talked about food preparation and having your food handled, handling your schedule, your computer, your tabs. I have like
Browser.
300 browser tabs open at once and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means for you and just what that means for your productivity and what you can get done and just your feeling of overwhelm. Cause I know that when I open up my laptop, like, I see like a messy desk piled with
Yeah.
thousands of ideas and things and articles and crap that I didn't get to yet. And it's overwhelming. So, still continue to work on that. I need to really make it a habit, make it a part of how I live. But today we are going to focus the topic on managing the people in your life, because we mentioned that right at the end of the last fireside about this stuff. And it's really its own topic. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And Eileen said something to me one day, and it wasn't really, you just kind of mentioned it. And I was like, wait, hold on. What did you just say? You were talking about you were going to be visiting family.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to see your stepdad. And well, why don't you share about that? Because you can explain it so much better. You were texting me and telling me that you were about to see him and that you were making a plan with him about something.
Yeah. So I was going on a trip, and my stepdad, he's 79. He'll be 80 this year. And besides the fact being, he's 79, so he's a little slower. He's retired. He likes to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it, which is great. But going on a trip with him, this is the first time I've been on a trip with him. Really difficult for me. It's difficult for me to go on trips anyway. I'll be honest. I like having a schedule. I like being scheduled. I like being productive. I like being organized, and that's hard to do on a trip. And so trips tend to stress me out a lot. And, Tracy got to experience this a couple of weeks before I left for the trip. And so, and I did tell her, I just told her flat out that I was stressed out about the trip. And it's because I had not figured out how I was going to manage this human being that I was going to be with. So, I knew from conversations we had that he was excited about showing me some things. He's been watching some DVDs and reading some books and listening to some music, and that's his thing. That's what he loves to do. And he loves theater, and he loves symphonies and operas and things like that. And so he had been mentioning to me for the last few months all these different things that he loves and he's interested in. And I thought to myself, okay, so the best thing for me to do, since I'm stressed out about going on this trip, the best thing for me to do is to be strategic about how I'm going to spend time with him. And so what I did was I reached out to him and I said, hey, so tell me about some of these things you've been talking about these things for the last few months. What are some things you want me to see? And so he listed it out. Oh, I want you to hear this music, and I want to show you this DVD, and I want to show you this movie. And he had this whole list of things. And I said, okay, so, when you and I are spending, a week together in Washington, we will, we're going to carve out some time. I said, I've got, and I gave him some options. Like I told him what when I thought we could do it. And so he takes out his little calendar and he gets all excited and he starts writing down, this is really what happened. And he starts writing down, okay, so on Tuesday, we're going to do that. We're going to watch such and such at 11 o'clock. Okay. And so he writes that down and just, he was giddy about it. He was absolutely giddy about it. And it worked for me. This is what I do. It worked for me because now on this trip, I know that before 11 o'clock, I can, or 10 o'clock or whenever it is we're going to watch these or listen to these things, that I can do with that time what I want to do with it. So he's not waiting for me and wondering when we're going to hang out and he's going to
Right.
show me what he wants to show me. And this is part of what I like to call people management.
Right, because you know that for you to survive
Hmm.
essentially on this
Hmm.
trip, you need to be able to do some work and get
Hmm.
some stuff done.
Yeah, going on a trip and not working, you know, is not really an option for me. I understand that for, they love it. People love to take a week off or 2 weeks off or whatever. That's fine. I can do that for 3 or 4 days, but this was a week-long trip. It's not possible for me to take, I'm self-employed. It's not really feasible at this point for me to take a week off. It's just not really feasible for me to do that. Not the kind of work that I do. And so, yes, for me, if I didn't carve out for myself or plan work time and control when, if I didn't do that, I would have been feeling guilty because my stepdad wants to spend time with me and show me these things, or he would have been bugging me about it. Okay, so when can I show you this? And when can I show you that? And when can I show you this? So he would have been, I would have been feeling guilty, which is my fault, or he would have been nagging me, which is also my fault.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and so you texted this to me and you said, "Oh, I have a plan for it." And I'm like, "Okay, you need to explain this to me." So you explained it
Mm-hmm.
to me and I started to see where I could do this because in my house, I have a 7-year-old and she wants to watch movies with me. She wants to do this and that. And it's it's the same thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
am I going to take off 2 hours in the middle of the day to watch, you know, a kid's cartoon movie? I'm probably going to be feeling antsy
Mm-hmm.
about
That's my
that.
problem. That's
Yeah.
my problem. I feel antsy. But if I know that from 11 until 1:30 or 12:30 or whatever, that this is what he and I are going to do, that's in my schedule. I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
That I'm not antsy about that because it's in my schedule. I scheduled it,
Yeah.
you know?
So I tried it. So I tried it on is like almost immediately because Violet had been asking me when we could have a movie night and stuff. And I said, Violet, we are going to have a movie night tomorrow night because it was Friday night. I knew I wasn't going to be doing work anyway
Hmm.
at that point. And I said, let's plan a real movie night. We'll make popcorn. And she got so excited.
Yeah.
And she also stopped bothering me about doing it Wednesday night
Right.
or
And
Thursday
so, and
afternoon or
that's
whatever.
that's the whole thing. Like when your 7-year-old is walking up to you every, 3 days out of the week, and I don't know if this was happening to you, but if she's walking up to you 3 days out of the week and saying, "Hey, mom, can you watch a movie with me?" and you're always saying no, then her experience is my mom doesn't want to do stuff with me, or my mom doesn't want to watch a movie with me, and your experience is you feel like crap because you feel like a
Yes,
bad parent. That's the
exactly.
problem with it, you know?
That's it. Exactly. It's a lose-lose situation.
Everybody loses, and that's the
Right.
problem. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I realized that I hadn't been doing that, at all.
Hmm.
So I started with the movie night thing, and then my parents are in town right now, and one thing that I knew that if I scheduled with my mom, she would be extremely happy is taking us both out to get a massage. I mean, she loves massages, like she's
Hmm.
crazy about massages.
That's great.
So yeah, so I scheduled it without telling her, and then the day before, I was like, by the way, we're going to go out and have a massage tomorrow. And she was just like, what? Like she was so excited.
Yeah,
She
and,
was
and and
floored.
here and here's what you need to get about it. So you schedule the massage at whatever time you did, but what's nice about that is it left room in the rest of the day for
Mhm.
other plans you could make, other things you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what works about it. And it's also, there are people in your life who want to do things with you. Your spouse, your significant other, your partner, whatever you want to call them, your kids, your family who's visiting in town, your friends, whatever. Um, and Tracy, you should talk about that thing. Remember when your husband came to you and wanted to schedule that one night with
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you can tell that story in just a second, but
Okay.
so and if you keep saying no, this is what you need to understand. If you keep saying no, you're going to continue feeling like crap. And you're going to end up saying, because you're feeling like crap, because you feel guilty, you're going to say yes on a day and a time that doesn't work for you at all. And the whole point of people management, this is part of people management, is going, you control it. You decide, you go in your schedule and say, when can I do this? And you go to that person and say, hey, listen, you know how you've been asking me about such and such? Can we do that on Thursday at 8 p.m.? Would that work for you? Or 7 p.m.? Or now it's on your terms. Part of people management is you do it on your terms. And this is how I live.
Yeah. So what happens is either you say no all the time or you say yes when it doesn't work for you
That's
and you're
right.
crabby. Yeah.
That's correct. You're exactly
Yeah.
right. You're either saying no all the time, feeling guilty, or you're saying yes all the time and hating your life. Choose. And I
Yep.
choose option C, which is neither of those.
Right.
That's what people management is.
Exactly. So as I get this lesson, I was like,
Oh, then that thing happened with Stanberry, right?
yeah, okay, so this is what happened.
This happened like right on the heels. It's really funny.
Did.
This happened right on the heels of this conversation that we had.
It did. It did. And keep in mind, I'm not a master of this yet, but because, and we'll talk about how I'm not a master of it in a minute, but
Yeah.
but what happened was, we actually dog sat for my husband's cousin's dog. My sister was so excited about it because it's a little French bulldog and she's really sweet and cute. And my daughter's obsessed with dogs. But so the dog came over for the whole weekend and she's a really nice dog, but she actually, she had fleas.
Yeah, and we don't need a ton of detail here, but what happened with the scheduling?
Well, oh yeah, I won't go into the whole story. Anyway, so they really wanted to take us out to dinner because, they dropped off a dog with fleas,
So it was
essentially.
an accident. They were like, "Oh, we're really
Yeah,
sorry.
they were like,
Let's take you out for a really nice dinner because we gave you our dog with fleas."
yeah. And
Okay.
thanks for watching the dog. And on top of it, the dog had fleas, and we had
Okay.
to manage that while the dog was here, which is fine. I mean, like we live in North Carolina. There's fleas every summer, so
Yeah.
it's just part of it. Yeah, no, it freaks you
Mhm.
out. It freaks
Yeah.
you out. I know. But there's ways to manage it, but sometimes in the summer you get this problem. So anyway, they wanted to take us out to a really great restaurant, our favorite restaurant. And it was like it's a nice restaurant. And they're like offering to take us out. We're like, yes, because yummy. And so this was my first mistake, letting David plan it with him instead of like letting us take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
But so letting me take care of it. But no offense to David, but so he's like going back and forth and they're like and David's like, hey, let's go on Wednesday night. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, yeah, that's not the best because this, that, and the other, my daughter has to get to bed at a certain time, all these different things. I was just like, that's just not the best plan. And we're not gonna be able to relax and enjoy ourselves. It's just not the best plan. So I said no. And he's like, come on, let's just and then we went back and forth with a couple of dates. I suggested a couple Friday nights or Saturday nights.
Well,
And
and I think what's important about this story is they had been trying to nail down a date for a period of time.
yeah, it was taking a while because they were in and out of town and it was hard to, and they're hard to schedule with anyway because they're really busy and travel a lot. He has a job that takes him out of town a lot. So we were trying to do this and David was just like, come on, let's just do this on a Wednesday because, it's really hard to find a time. And this was the first time that I did this. I said, I really want to go too. And no,
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Yep.
Let's find a date that works for me as well so that everyone can be happy and I can relax and actually enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, if we have to look out 3 or 4 weeks, we have to do that. So that's
right.
what we actually did. And it was 3.5 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
We found a Friday night that worked and we had a great time.
And it was
I didn't
three and
have
a half
to
weeks
work.
later. And
Yeah.
yet, and you could have had that meal with them on a Wednesday night, and you could have been annoyed on Monday, Tuesday, and all of Wednesday, knowing that your Wednesday night was going to be hijacked by going out to dinner. Which honestly, if you work from home or if if you got goals, if you got a business, whatever, I'm going to tell you, like doing evening activities like that, it doesn't work very well. I'm just telling you, it just doesn't.
Totally.
You got to get to bed on time. You got to get. I mean, it's a work week. Wednesday is the middle of a work week. And this is what you need to understand about this, everybody who's listening. if you don't say no for things that don't work for you, everybody else is very happy to plan your life for you. Everybody else is very happy to try and get you to do things that work for them. And what
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you is, I am inviting you to begin doing things that work for you and only work for you. Say
Yeah.
no until saying yes works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it works. Because you guys
Because
had a great time that night.
oh, we had a great
It was a
time, and we
Friday night,
weren't.
I think, wasn't it?
It was a Friday night, and we planned it in advance, so we had reservations. We didn't
Yep.
have to worry because this place is hard to get in. People reserve in advance because it's one of the best restaurants in town, honestly.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, so you
and
didn't have to worry, again, there's nothing wrong with planning in advance, but you just have to look, people are going to try and push you to do what they want you to do because convenient, because easier, because let's just get it over with, because let's just get it done. And I can tell you that I don't operate that way. I'm not operating on let's just get it done, let's just get it over with. I don't do that. I
well, and
operate on
he,
what
I
works
think
for me.
yeah, he didn't want to get it over with in this case because it's a fun thing that we wanted to do, but he wanted to accommodate them and not be a pain in the butt, maybe, like, oh, now we're looking 3 weeks out.
Which
Like,
is another thing I don't do.
exactly. I
I'm just
know. That's
saying
why
I
I brought it
don't.
up.
Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not saying I'm unaccommodating. I'm saying I'm not going to sacrifice myself to accommodate another. It's not happening.
Mhm.
And that's part of what people management is. Like, you have to be that clear about what works for you and what doesn't. You do not have to sacrifice yourself to accommodate other people. You do not.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, you just don't. And so you're kind of learning this now, I realize.
Yeah, I am. And I think one of the things you said that had the biggest impact on me was how you said you need to, and this applies to the other stuff too, with the food and everything else, taking care of yourself
That's
first
right.
actually makes it possible for you to take care of others and make other people happy. But you have to make sure that you're taking care of first because you're the only one who's going to do that.
That's right. No one else is going to take care of you the way that you do. I am a I am ridiculous about taking care of myself first. And people
Hmm.
go, "Oh, it's Eileen, it's because you don't have kids." And no, it has nothing to do with me not having kids. It has nothing to do. It has to do with I know that if I'm not well and if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't do anything. I'm useless.
Right.
I'm useless. And what's the point of being useless? You know, that just doesn't help anything. And so I think you're kind of picking up on this now for yourself.
Yeah, I am. And I've done it here and there. And unfortunately, I haven't done it every single time, every single place yet because it's easy to, if you haven't been doing it, to get snowballed,
Okay.
essentially.
So give me an example of snowballed.
Well, so my parents came into town, and of course, I want to do things with them, but I also can't do things with them the whole entire day because I need to get some stuff done for the podcast and Crushing Classical. I need to work. I can make the schedule how I want it, but I still need to do some things. And
Okay.
so like I scheduled the massage, which was great. I scheduled I made some pre-cooked meals, or we had planned specific nights to go out at certain places. So
Sure.
that was done.
Sure.
Today we have a plan to go watch the eclipse, so that'll be fun. Um, and but there was another thing that was going on. Okay, yesterday I think I got a little overwhelmed. There was a neighborhood party,
Mm-hmm.
and I had planned that we would all go. But then when
Right.
it came down to it, we were not everyone was feeling like walking up to the party. It was in the neighborhood and it was like 90 degrees and humid. My mom and dad were like, we're not doing that. And then we got there and there
Oh,
was,
interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah. And they just weren't in the mood to talk to a bunch of people they don't know, which I get.
Yeah.
And it was hot. And then, there was some other things going on, right? Like at the same time, it felt like everything was happening at the same time.
Okay.
And it was not planned. I didn't plan properly at all.
Okay.
So,
And what would you do differently? Like, if you could go back, what would you do differently?
if I could go back, I would have been honest about that I couldn't do all the things that I
Like,
thought I could do in
okay.
those. In,
So what are the things that you thought you could do? Are you able to say or no?
um, yeah. So one of them is I would have gotten clear with my parents exactly what their intentions were about going to that party or not, because it was hot all day. I could have found out sooner, you know.
Oh, so that's
Um,
interesting. So you actually didn't go to them and ask them if they wanted to go.
I think I made assumptions. I had mentioned it and
Oh,
they're like, "Oh, okay," but I didn't straight out come out and say, "Do you guys want to walk 4 blocks at 4 p.m. and go
hottest
to a
part of the day.
party
Yep.
at the hottest part of the day and go to a party where there's going to be a loud band and maybe who knows how much food is going to be there?"
Yep.
Like I didn't lay it out like bullet pointed. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
I made assumptions.
Yep.
Um, I had scheduled a call yesterday
Mm-hmm.
and it was not a good time. It's a repeated call that I need to make to a group of people that I talk to. And it's for something on the side, and
Okay.
I I should have opted out of that call
Yes,
yesterday.
I agree. You should have. And actually, it's interesting because you knew your parents were in town. I'm surprised you kept that agreement,
I know.
right?
I know.
Yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like it's almost this is going to sound really stupid,
No, it
okay?
doesn't sound stupid because you're human. So go ahead.
Okay. It's almost like I was afraid to say no because I was trying to convince myself that I could handle all of it.
Yeah.
But in the truth of it is that I of course I couldn't.
Right.
So instead I did things half-assed and didn't do anything really up to par.
Yeah, and that's
I don't know if
interesting.
that
So this is where you and I are different. I am probably overly brutally honest about what I can't do versus, and you're the polar opposite of me. So you're like, I can do it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I can get it all done. And I'm over here going, there ain't no way I can get that done. Like I'm really brutal because I really know what I can. I just know. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
did you have any sort of a gut? Like, did you have a gut thing like this may not work out?
Yeah.
You did. So all you want to do is pay attention to that.
Right.
You just got to listen to that. You got to trust yourself because you're probably
Yeah.
right. You
I
know,
was, yeah, I know. And I
you're
was
not
feeling
stupid.
bad about it.
You
Like I was
know,
feeling bad about it. Like, oh, I didn't cancel the call and I should have canceled it in advance. And now that I didn't, that's me being a jerk for doing it at the last minute. So I should just try and make this work. I can get on the call while I'm walking, which is stupid,
oh boy.
you know?
Oh boy. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So instead of just being honest and like, I could have owned up to it even and said, hey, I should have done this before. I should have canceled before, but I'm canceling now.
Yeah,
It's my
absolutely.
fault.
Yep. Yep.
And I
Totally.
should have said, hey, mom and dad, I should have talked to them earlier about the day. I
Yep.
could have planned the entire thing.
Yeah.
I ended up, I wanted to get on Facebook Live with my mom
Right.
because she was here and I wanted to talk to her and to do that little interview while
Yeah.
she's here. And it was just like too many things to do in one day, honestly.
Okay.
And I didn't
Interesting.
plan it out. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
plan it out.
Yeah. And so here's the question though, like, and again, this is partly people management, this is partly scheduling. What
Mhm.
has you not planned?
Um,
Just curious. Because for me, it's such an automatic. So I'm just trying to figure out what do you tell yourself or what are you thinking that planning is not just there for you?
It's just I never did it. I never planned my day like to the and gotten really specific, which is
Okay.
it's not working.
So it's just like a habit thing for you.
Yeah, and I think like remember how I used the word snowball?
Yeah.
I'm around all these people and they all have concerns and they're all coming at me at once.
Ah, this is where the people management comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like if
So,
I want to sit down and and figure out exactly what I'm doing in the schedule, I need it to be quiet so I can take a look and see what's going to work and what's not going to work.
right. And so when would be the ideal time for you to do that?
The night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The night before, or, um, I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're not too tired, like if you put your daughter to bed right after that, maybe?
Yeah, that would be a great time to do it. And you shared that article with me and I read it and I was like, "Oh man, it was essentially about this stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
know?"
Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, "Yeah, I still am not doing the night before thing. I have done it and when I do it, the next day runs more smoothly, but it was the weekend. So maybe I thought, "Oh, it's just the weekend and I kind of thought this party, this neighborhood party is uh, from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I wasn't thinking about what happens after. Like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
bedtime needs to happen.
Well,
And if I
right.
don't get there on time, and
Oh,
you know,
and of
I didn't
course I
think it through.
texted you about that yesterday and you probably
Mhm.
just chuckled because it's so funny because I'm so in tune with that if you don't leave on time, that it's going to run into bedtime. I don't even have a child and I'm over here going, oh my gosh, I hope Tracy gets this out in time. Blah, 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 blah. Seriously.
Yeah, no, but this is my stupid humanity going, oh, it's going to be fine. And I didn't even think, even though I've made the mistake numerous times.
Yeah, totally. Yep. And the whole thing for me is I want her to go to bed on time because it impacts your next day if she doesn't go to
Oh,
bed on
and she
time.
was exhausted yesterday because of all the things we've been doing, and she'd been staying up late because grandparents and having fun at night and goofing around and,
Sure.
you know,
Sure. So she's going to be harder to get to bed probably.
yeah, last night, well, actually, last night she was a little trouble, but she was mostly just exhausted. Like I had to drag her to the bathroom, drag her to
Right.
brush her teeth,
Brush
you
her
know?
teeth, bath, all that. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing too is, and I'll say this for everybody on the call, the weekends are as much something you need to manage people and your schedule as the weekdays. I'm always amazed when, look, I realize there are some people who have nothing to do on the weekends and that's cool. But if you have to be somewhere, if you've got to get some work done, if you've got goals, I mean, anything, if you're trying to get a workout in, if you need to take
Practice. I mean, all these
practice,
musicians need to practice. And
if you need to
and
practice, yeah.
here's the thing with musicians, you need to navigate your day according to what you have at night as well. I mean, probably people are pretty used to this, but if you have a hard concert on Saturday night,
Hmm.
you can't get the same kind of practice you'd put in on a Monday when you don't have a concert at night.
Right,
Obviously, you're going to
right.
save your chops a little bit. So you need to practice earlier. Maybe you
Hmm.
need to do a lighter routine, maybe not add that second session.
Yep.
Like, I mean, a lot of people will already know this, but some people won't. And I know that I made this mistake before when I had a concert. Like, oh my God, I just practiced too much.
Hmm.
Oops. It's 4 o'clock and I just got done. I don't know. I hopefully my chops will feel good by 7:30. Like
Hmm.
these are things you have to navigate. Right. Like you want to get a workout in. Maybe you shouldn't do arms, at 4 p.m. on a Saturday because you have to hold your violin up at 8,
Yeah,
you know?
and maybe you shouldn't eat lunch at noon if you're going to the gym at 1.
Right.
I'm
There's
just
things
using
that you have to
so that
think
you don't,
about.
and just so you don't vomit your cookies on the floor is my point. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like this is all part of planning, but it's also in order for all that to work, you have to manage all the people in your life. So you knew over the weekend that you said your husband had a concert, right? He was gone.
Yeah, he had a concert for a chamber music group he was coaching. So he had a dress rehearsal and a concert at the location of that place.
Okay.
So he was gone from like I don't know, like 10 till 2
Right.
or 3.
And so you knew at that point that you had your daughter and you also needed to do a call and a Facebook Live. How are you going to manage that?
Yeah, I just didn't think ahead at all. Like at all.
Yeah. Because somebody has to manage her while you're doing that. So that means you need to go to your parents and say, I mean, I'm just using that as an example. You could get a babysitter, you could get the neighbor, whatever. But, you could go to your parents and say, hey, listen, you know what? I've got this thing I need to do. Can you watch Violet from this time to this time while I go do this thing? This is part of
Hmm.
people management. So what's interesting about you is you sort of let it fly however it flies instead of getting everybody involved in what you need them to do so that you can win the day. And so everybody wins the day. That's what you need to get. If you win the day, everybody wins the day. And if you don't win the day, nobody wins it.
Yeah, and you have to be responsible. I had to be responsible for that because nobody else is going to
That's right.
plan. No
That's
one
right.
else is going to plan,
That's
especially in
right.
my house.
Your parents were not going to plan. They were on vacation. Your husband's not going to plan. He's not really a planner and he also wasn't there.
Hmm.
And your 7-year-old certainly isn't going to plan,
No.
right? You see what I'm saying now?
Yeah, and I think I tend to think, oh, the weekends we can navigate that. It's more free, but it's only just navigating different events.
That's
Not
right.
it's just because it's not camp or school or some other quote unquote important thing to navigate.
That's
It's
right.
still something that needs to be looked at.
That's right. And there's still
So
people
yeah.
to manage around it.
Yeah, and it was even more to deal with because I had my family in town.
Exactly. Exactly. So you get all that now, right? So it didn't have
Yeah.
to, your weekend didn't have to go that way,
No.
right? And so it went that way just because you decided not to plan for whatever reason. You
Hmm.
thought it would be easy, you thought it'd be fine, I can do it all or whatever.
And I made assumptions.
Yep. Yep. And by the way, I think it's funny that you thought your parents would want to walk in 90-degree weather to 4 blocks to a outdoor event.
Here's what I'm thinking. Oh, it's something to do, so we can do something. Do,
I see.
like without thinking it through.
I see. What would they have preferred to do?
Not that.
Okay. Do you have any idea what else they would have preferred? Because that's another thing is, when you've got someone in town, maybe find out, maybe there's things they want to do. I don't know if there was anything they wanted to do, but maybe there's things they want to go see in Raleigh, right?
Hmm.
Did you have
Yeah.
that conversation before they came?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did they say anything that they were interested in?
No, they just wanted to hang out with us.
Okay.
Devin always goes to the movies with my dad and,
Okay. That's cool.
you know,
Yeah.
especially when it's hot. There's so many things that we do. There's more things that we do when it's not hot, as far as like outdoor activities that they like, but when it's really this hot, they don't want to do.
Yeah,
Especially my
and that
mom,
makes
she doesn't
sense.
like it.
Well, I mean, and I
Yeah.
live in Arizona, and I'm going to tell you, like, we don't, people don't go out. I mean, when it's a little bit over 100 degrees, when it's like 100 to 104, that's not a big deal here. I know that's a big
Hmm.
deal in other parts of the country, but here in Arizona, it's not a big deal. Once you get into 105 and above, that's when we're like, yeah, no, we're going to stay inside. That's how that goes.
Right.
So,
Right.
so people do things outside here, but I'll tell you, when it gets hot and 90 degrees and humid where you are, that's hot.
Hmm.
So then it's just, planning indoor stuff,
Yeah.
but this is like again, it's just about, are you willing to manage the people and the circumstances to fit what works for you? And it's not
Yeah.
about not doing what other people want. It's about making sure it works for you because you are the reason why everybody will win in that scenario. You have to
Hmm.
understand that.
Yeah.
Like I knew that if I planned things with my stepdad a certain way, that we would both win because I would get to work when I wanted to work. He would get time with me to show me the things he wants to show me, and we would both be happy.
Right.
If I win, he wins.
Hmm.
If I turn into a curmudgeon because I didn't get my work done, I don't win, he doesn't win.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's what people management is about. It's you deciding that you're going to control the situation and it's going to be for the best of everybody. Everyone's going to be happy because you did that.
Right.
So, do you have any questions or any other scenarios you want to bring up?
Um, no, I get it. Well, I'm leaving town, so I'm going to be around family again next week.
Yeah, this should be interesting. You get another opportunity, another shot.
Yay. Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's just navigating the time that I can have to work and the time that I need to spend with family.
Okay. Okay, good. So let's talk about that. Are you staying with family or are you staying separately?
We're staying with family, but the cool thing is we get to stay in the coach house, so it's separate.
Okay, it's separate. That's fine. Now, what do you need to do so that you can be somewhat in control of your day? Like, I'm sure there's some work that you want to do while you're there. What do you need to do first in order for that to be possible? Do you know?
Well, I need to figure out what I need to do while I'm gone or what I want to do
Okay,
while
so
I'm
that's
gone.
part of it. Yeah, you want to figure out what are the things you need to work on, things you need to schedule. So that's number one.
Yeah.
Okay, what's
And I
the
know
Go ahead.
I won't be scheduling any phone calls.
Right, no phone calls. That's a
That's the
rule
rule.
on trips. No phone calls
Yeah.
on trips.
And by the way, that was something that you and I had messaged back and forth because this has sort of been the theme of the week. Actually, sometimes we end up with themes of the week,
Yeah,
even
I
though
know,
we're not
right?
trying to do that.
Yep.
But we had talked about making rules
Yep.
and just rules to live by. And you said that you had sat down and listed out your rules to live by. And I
Mm-hmm.
know you've shared some of them that you have, and I have, adopted some of them for myself.
Yep.
And one of them is that because I learned my lesson, like it's not ideal to schedule a phone call with somebody when you're traveling because you don't always know exactly what's going to happen in your day. Where
And
you're,
and by the way, fitting into that, that's how you had that phone call, that group call.
yeah.
I would have canceled that because I don't do phone calls when people are visiting me either.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I don't do those either. So, and again, these are just rules and they work for me. You have to decide what works for you. But I don't do calls when people are visiting me, which doesn't happen very often, honestly. But I don't do any calls when I'm on trips. No phone calls
No calls when you're on trips and no calls
when
when
someone's
someone's
visiting.
visiting
That's
you.
right. No calls.
Well, in that article that you shared with me, one of the rules that he had was um I don't take any calls unless it's prearranged,
Yes, and that's
which is
actually
pretty
that's
intense.
actually me too. You're the only exception to that, or my family, like if my stepdad or my brother contacts
Yeah,
me. But that's it. You guys are the only three. You, my brother, my stepdad. That's it. Otherwise, there are no unscheduled calls.
right.
And that's a rule, and I don't
Yeah.
break it. hmm And believe me, I've lost clients over it. So back in my really client heavy days, I would try and schedule like somebody be referred to me, and they would go, "Oh, you can call me anytime today between 8 and 5." And I said, "Actually, no. How I do it is I schedule calls. So what time works for you? I'm available on Thursday, this time to this time, Tuesday, this time, So, and they would write me back and they'd be like, "No, you can just call me between 8 and 5." And then I would just end the communication. I will lose clients over it. I will
Mm,
not work with people who are not scheduled. Doesn't work. And I'm not going to do what they want me to do. I'm not going to call them. Again, this is people management. I am not going to do what they want me to do, which is call between 8 and 5. It's not happening. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing phone tag. I'm not leaving messages. I'm not going to be at your beck and call when you try and call me back. These are rules. I'm not doing it. And so this
right.
is again, people management. You got to be really clear. What are your rules? I know what mine
Yeah.
are. I know what
Well,
mine are.
I've
I don't break them.
I've been, and I've been following the rule about scheduled calls.
Yeah.
And I sometimes, it's rare, but sometimes someone will forget and they won't be there.
hmm
And then they call back at a time not specified, which I use. And it's not that I'm sitting around doing nothing and I see their call and I'm like, I'm not answering that. I'm like, I'm usually doing something else because of scheduling. I have something else scheduled and I'm
That's right.
busy,
That's right.
and they
And so you
call,
can play phone tag all day. This is why I don't do unscheduled calls.
right. And they'll call back and say, hey, you can call me back. I'll be home for the next hour. I'm like, I scheduled the rest of my day
That's
out.
right.
So
I'm
we're going to have to
busy
go
for the
back to the
next hour and
drawing
I'm not going to call him
board.
back. Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, okay, so let's return because I know you're going on a trip next week. So
Yeah.
you said, so you're going to plan out, first of all, what work you're going to do while you're there. That's cool. What's the second thing you have to do?
I have to find out if anyone has a certain plan on a specific day that they want to do. Like if everyone's saying we're definitely going to the zoo on Thursday or
Yes. And
whatever.
what time are we going?
Yeah. Yeah.
And not we're going to the zoo on Thursday, but we don't know what time. No,
What
no.
time are we going to the zoo
What
on
time are we
Thursday?
going to the zoo?
Yeah. So this is stuff I can be doing like today and tomorrow
That's
night.
right. And hey, are we going out to lunch one day together? Are we going as a big group or are we doing it on our own? Or what are we, and is our meals together? Are we on our own? Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, figure out what the plan is while you're there. And then there's a third thing you have to do.
Um, outside of what we decide. Well, I can also do the other thing where, hey, I'll take the kids to the park at noon on Friday.
Yeah, so you can participate in the
Mhm.
activities.
Yes, and I can plan one. And then the other thing would be to schedule my stuff around all of those things.
That's right. And then there's one more thing you have to do still.
Okay, then I don't know what that is because I thought that was
Okay, well, I mean,
it.
you're really close, but this is the thing, and what's really funny is this is the thing that you resist the most that you don't realize, and that
Okay.
most people resist the most. And so I'll tell you what it is. You need to communicate with everybody involved how this is going to go.
Okay.
So you need to if you don't tell people that you've got planned work time and that you are not available during that time, guess what's going to happen?
They're going to try to disrupt that somehow.
And they're not even going to try and disrupt it. They just will because you didn't communicate.
Uh-huh.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
They will run over your schedule. They will gladly take over your schedule for you because you didn't communicate.
Yeah.
They will do it with joy and pride. I promise you, and happiness, because you didn't tell them, because you didn't communicate. And so, seriously, if you don't communicate with, the people involved and let them know, okay, listen, since we're going to the park at noon, I'm going to work between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. I am not available.
Hmm.
And you let them know, and you let your husband know, and you let your kid know, you let everybody know.
Yeah.
Okay? Seriously. Like, if you don't do this, this is people management. Because if you don't do this, I promise you, they will happily take over your schedule for you.
Hmm.
You get that?
Yes, I
Isn't it
do.
interesting how you conveniently forgot, though, that you need to manage those people and let them know how it's going to go?
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's interesting and it's maddening, is what it
Is
is.
it? Why?
Because I'm annoyed, like, yeah, of course, I didn't do this. I didn't do this yet. I don't know when I was going to do it, but
Yeah.
what I was thinking I would do, and
Oh, do
this is
tell. I'm
gonna
dying to know. What were you thinking you were going to do?
just say, hey guys, I'm going to be working during this trip.
Yeah, that's not going to
It's
work.
not specific enough. It
Nope.
needs to be specific.
Yeah,
Chronically unspecific.
that's right.
That's what I'm being.
Yeah, true. True. You are. And the thing is, you can turn this around right away. You can turn it around.
Hmm.
But you have to be willing to go to them and say, "Hey, listen. Okay, what are the activities? What are we doing? What do we plan? What is the unscheduled time that we have so far? Okay, is there anything I'm missing? Are we going out to lunch? Are we getting together with what are we doing? What are we doing?" And you got to get commitments out of people. Because
Yeah, I
otherwise
know.
you
And
can't schedule your thing if you don't get commitments.
yep, and I know from visiting these people, this it's David's brother, and I know they're busy and they have freelance gigs on the weekend and they play weddings in the summer and things like that. So I need to find out in advance, hey, you guys have a wedding on
Yeah.
Saturday. What are you doing? Like, let's find out.
Yeah. Totally. So you already know there's going to be some commitments probably.
Yeah, and I know that they're going to be working as well
Yeah.
because they don't stop working when we're coming to town.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense. You don't stop working when they come to town.
Right.
So same thing here. And so that's why, I just want to bring, this is how you plan. This is how you
Mhm.
got to get all the dominoes in the row. But I know that planning is not your favorite thing, but planning is necessary.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And every time you don't, you pay a price.
Yeah, and I've made it that I think the worst thing in the world is planning, but really the worst thing in the world is not
Not
planning.
planning. And you just lived it over the weekend
Mhm.
again, right?
Yeah.
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 The worst thing in the world is actually not planning.
Hmm.
And I wish I could scream this at the rooftops for everybody to hear. Planning is necessary. People management is necessary. It's
Yeah.
how you make everybody happy is you make yourself happy first. It's not meant to be selfish
Hmm.
but let me tell you, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. If mama's not happy, nobody's happy. Really? I mean, and who would even lie about that? It's not like I'm alone in this.
No, I know.
The difference is that I'm willing to take control of it. That's the only difference.
Yep.
Everybody else is waiting for other people to take control because I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they're willing to have other people take control. I'm not. And maybe
Right.
it's just because my threshold for being unhappy is lower than yours.
Well, like, look, I don't have a high threshold for being unhappy. I just have a high threshold maybe for forgetting how how miserable it is when it happens or something. I don't know what it
Interesting.
is. I can't explain it because it sounds so stupid.
Uh,
It sounds ridiculous.
well, you're human. It's all good. I just think you're a little bit of a unicorn. So you like to tell yourself unicorn stories about how
Oh,
it's going to
believe
work out.
me. I know. Like remember when remember the whole okay, I want to take us back to when I hired the editor, the book
Yeah.
editor
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And one time he said, "Hey, can you contact
Oh, yeah.
30 people
Uh-huh.
like this week?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start right now." Okay, this was before my daughter was in school. I mean,
Oh,
I was
right.
just all like, "Yeah, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do everything. I stay up all night. I'll do everything." You know, that's where I was back then. I mean, this
Yeah.
was like a year ago
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
remember that. And then, of course, it didn't happen. You only got what, 10 that week or something? Less? 8? Something?
yeah, yeah,
Because 30 people's a lot.
yeah,
To actually get on the phone with 30 people, that's a lot of people.
yeah,
You know, that's a lot of people. So yeah,
yeah.
no, I get it. So yeah, it's just you know, it's just you being honest about and I know you've got this trip coming up and believe me, I've been thinking about it. You know, I've been thinking about that. I hope that you're doing all these things that we're talking about because I know what you're
Hmm.
going to run into when you get there.
Yeah,
Because I know what it's like when you don't plan and when you don't control other people. I know.
hmm,
So yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I am going to sit down and figure this whole week out.
good.
Well, the one thing I did manage was how long we're going to be gone
Okay.
because I know that if it's more than 4 days
Mm-hmm.
between the travel days,
Yeah,
actually,
you're going to be annoyed.
yeah, yeah,
You're going to be annoyed. I get it. So good. So that's essentially people management. Put yourself first, and everybody wins. That's people management.
hmm,
You tell people what's going to happen. You get your schedule in place. You plan things. Go to them before they come to you complaining.
yes,
That's the key. Go to them and make an arrangement that works for you before they come to you and complain about how it doesn't.
hmm,
Because that's what it is. And we all have commitments like that. You're dating people, you've got to keep your agreements. If you've got a spouse, you've got to keep your agreements with them. You just have to.
yeah,
It's part of being married, it's part of being in a relationship, part of having kids.
exactly.
It's just part of the deal. So don't wait for them to come to you all unhappy. And don't wait
Hmm.
until you're unhappy.
Right.
Make yourself happy first. And I promise you, they will be very happy.
Hmm.
So that's the essence of people management.
Yeah, and the reason why this is so important is because when you don't manage the people, you end up feeling defeated, you end up feeling overwhelmed, and you can't work toward your goals when you feel like
Yeah,
that.
you have goals. You have if you're a musician who is interested in wanting to create a side hustle or some kind of a unique career for yourself, you
Hmm.
are going to need to manage the people in your life and your schedule, such that that is a possibility. Because, I had a mentor say to me, and I think I told you this, Tracy. I had a mentor one time say to me, she said, what do you want what's your goal for the next 30 days? And I told her what it was. And she said, so here's what I want you to understand. She said, everybody in the room, we had to name what our goal was for the next 30 days. And what she said was, what you need to understand is your life as it exists today is not equipped. You do not have a life that will produce that result that you just said in the next 30 days. And we all got all, what do you mean, man? Honey, you're not living with me like everybody got all,
Yeah,
right? Everybody got like assy about it. Like, don't tell me
yeah.
what my life, but everybody got real
Yeah,
righteous about it. But she was
yeah.
right because what she said was, no, you didn't hear what I said. Your life as it exists right now is not set up. You are not equipped to reach that goal. How do I know that? Because that thing that you say you want, you still don't have. If
Hmm.
your life was set up to achieve that goal that you say you want. And she's like, how long have you guys wanted your goals? Just call it out. How many of you have wanted your goal for at least 3 months? Raise your hand. A bunch of us raised. Okay. 6 months. Raise your hand. A bunch of us kept our hands up. 12 months. Raise your hand. She said, so that's how I know your life isn't set up for you to achieve that goal. Because for 3 months you've wanted it, still haven't gotten it. 6 months you wanted it, still haven't gotten it. 8 months you wanted it, still haven't gotten it. 12 months you wanted it, still haven't gotten it. So
Mm.
clearly your life is not set up for you to have that. That's what I mean by your life as it exists today does not equip you. You do not have your life set up in a way that you can have that goal. So you're going to have to change your life
Hmm.
in order to have that. And that was really a wake up call for me. Truly, that was a wake up call for me.
Yeah.
That's when I got really, really vigilant about this. And that was in 2012.
Okay, so how long did it take you to? I mean, I know
Very
that you were
quick.
always
Very
okay.
quick. Yeah, very quick.
You were
But
always very organized anyway,
I was
but
always organized, but I just got really rigorous.
like what was something that you were that was creating your life like to not work? Because it seems like you had everything figured out, but like if you could take us back to that.
I mean, I would say, first of all, I was doing calls in the morning, which is the worst time for me to do calls.
Okay.
If I'm going to get any thinking work done, which there's a lot of thinking work, I need to do that before noon. I can do calls in the afternoon when I have half the energy that I normally have. Like in the morning, I have a ton of energy and a ton
Mm,
of brain power. So I need to do my high energy, high brain power activities in the morning. So the first thing I did was I moved calls to later in the
hmm.
day. So that's just one example. I mean, there's any number of other things, but I mean, it starts with going in your day and saying, if I'm not getting these high impact activities done, why am I not? And I realized because I was waiting until 3 o'clock in the afternoon to do high impact activities when I have no energy.
Yeah. Well, I read a quote the other day. I think it was Mark Twain. It was talking about doing stuff early in the morning and getting stuff done early in the morning.
Yep.
And it said, if you have to eat a frog, eat it first thing in the morning. If you have to
Yes.
eat two frogs, eat the biggest one
That's
first.
right. That's right.
I thought that was funny, but
And it's
it's ma
hard.
yeah, and it makes me think about being a musician when you need to practice, you need to say you need to learn something hard,
Hmm.
and especially if you have to have multiple practice sessions in a day,
Hmm.
get it
I would be
done.
doing the most difficult, the most taxing, the stuff I don't want to do most first thing.
Hmm.
Hmm. Oh, that's another thing. A lot of people, they train like they work out in the morning. That's another thing I don't do. So people, oh, working out in the morning is the best. No, it's terrible for me because if all my brain power and all my energy is in the morning and I spend an hour in the gym or an hour and a half in the gym, I just wasted all my energy on a workout.
Right. But
That's,
some people disagree with you. Some people think that's the first thing you need to do to set up your day right.
yeah,
So I don't know. I guess it depends on the person.
yeah, but that's actually wrong because what's right for you is what's right for you. And if you're
Right.
not, the thing is, it has nothing to do with being right or wrong. It has to do with if you're not achieving the goals that you want to achieve and you're not looking at your day to see why you're not, it's not an accident.
Right.
It's not an accident. So don't tell me that you have to work out in the morning and then tell me that you're not getting everything you want in your life. Maybe you need to not work out in the morning,
Exactly. Right.
right?
Right. So yeah, so people shouldn't make that blanket statement for everybody,
That's a
like in those
mistake.
all those articles.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would never tell somebody that they had to work out in the morning or they had to write in the morning or whatever. You have to do what works for you in the morning, but you have to make it something like that's yours. I'm not going to tell somebody what my schedule is because they have to do what works for them.
Uh-huh.
You know,
You can
that's,
share what works for you and they can look and see if that works for them.
yeah, you know,
Right.
but I just think it's important that people look and see, you have to look for yourself and see what works for you. And by the way, working out first thing in the morning may actually not be working for you. It wasn't working for me. And that's why I stopped
Hmm.
because there was a time that I was doing that,
Right.
you know?
If you get home and you need a nap after, it's
Yeah,
not
that's a problem. And actually
yeah.
that's exactly what was happening to me is I would come home and I would be exhausted and I would need to
Hmm.
drop down for 30 minutes. No, I can't do that. Not during a workday. I can't. It doesn't work,
Hmm.
you know? And so all that conventional advice, you should work out in the morning, you should have 6 meals a day, you should eat carbs in the morning and not at night, or no carbs during the day and at night. I'm sorry, but all that conventional wisdom that all these shoulds, no, they don't exist. That's
Right.
nonsense. You have to figure
Right.
out what works for you. And that's the same with,
Right.
and that's the same too with you, Tracy.
Yeah. Well, I know that I've only been scheduling, and it's sort of this 80% thing that I noticed about my life
Mm-hmm.
when I started looking at things that I was doing things like almost all the way to the completion or,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sort of your
90%,
thing.
80% done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And
sort of your thing.
yeah, it's annoying, but it's yet another thing that I need to add to the list. But like doing the scheduling and people management a little bit, but not 100%.
Yes.
Not 10 times as hard as I should or
Yeah.
as well as I should, but just, and maybe that's what I should be going for is like instead of 100%, not that there's a such thing, but 200%, like aim for bigger than so that I can manage the whole entire pie. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I managed to schedule a massage for my mom and I pre-made a quiche that one day and
Mm-hmm.
I scheduled the eclipse viewing.
Right.
And in between that I was like, okay, the rest of it's just I'm going to get as much work in here and there as I can. That's not good enough.
You're
It's
right.
that was it like I did that like 60% good enough.
You're right. That's exactly what happened. So that's actually what
So,
happened is
yeah.
you left the rest of it to chance. And then,
Yeah.
because, here's what's funny. If you would have said to your parents, seriously, if you would have said to your parents, listen, you guys, I'm not going to be available from, after we have breakfast, like we're going to have breakfast at 9 o'clock or 8:30 or whatever. And then I'm not going to be available. So right after breakfast, David's going to do dishes or y'all are going to do dishes and I'm going to be working from 9:30 until 11:30. So between 9:30 and 11:30, you guys are on your own, or do you want me to take you somewhere or whatever?
Hmm.
You could have done that.
Yeah, I
They
know.
would
And
have been fine with that.
that's what I'm gonna do from now on. That's what I'm gonna do for the next trip.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in the classical kids group.
Right. Yeah. I
So
just,
you'll
I
all
just
go
want
and
you to,
join it.
I just want you to understand that you have a choice.
Yes, I know. And yeah, it's just a choice of whether not gonna do it 100% or not.
Yeah. Totally. So,
I don't know what's stopping. Like what makes me mad is I don't know what stops me from doing that. It's just ugh. I don't like the answer if I don't know why. It's just I didn't see that I could, maybe, is the answer.
interesting. So you
I
don't,
didn't see I
Mhm.
didn't see that I could schedule the entire day. I didn't think that was possible. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good inquiry for you to be in.
Hmm.
Why didn't you? And also, is there anything in there about you feel like you can't tell people? I'm just asking because I don't know. Is there anything in there about you feel like you can't tell people how the day is going to go?
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Okay. And why not? Why can't you tell them how it's going to go?
Um Maybe just because I don't want to yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just it feels like I can't or I shouldn't.
Well, what other plan do they have?
Right, exactly.
I mean, what? Because I'm going to tell you, if you don't plan it for them, they'll plan it for you.
That's exactly what I can
Your
see now.
husband definitely will, by the way.
Yeah. Well, they don't plan it, they just do it.
That's what
And
I'm
then
saying. And then you're
yeah,
at the effect of it. That's what I mean by
right.
that. Yes.
That's exactly right.
So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is I really
Right.
want you to get this. If you don't plan it, they will happily plan it for you, i.e., they will do things and you will be at the effect of whatever it is they decide to do.
They will steamroll it. Right.
Correct. And you will be on board for that ride
Hmm.
because you didn't plan it.
Right. So that's what's really slapping me in the face right now is that.
Yep.
I don't want to be on a steamrolling ride.
That's right. And those are your choices, by the way. You either manage it or it will get managed for you and it will not be up to you how it goes.
Hmm.
Those are the two choices. And again, I told Tracy, I probably sound ridiculous like a control freak. It has nothing to do with being a control freak. It has everything to do with I'm not going to have my day decided by other people
Hmm.
because I have goals and I have dreams and I actually want to, and I also want everybody to be happy too. Like you might be listening to me going, she only cares about herself. Actually, no, I care about everybody and including myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not willing to be unhappy.
Right.
So just remember that if you don't plan it, they'll do it for you.
Yep.
No problem.
Well, I'm going to take this and attack my schedule for the next week,
I can't wait to see
essentially.
how it goes. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
In fact, I'm gonna put it in the calendar. I'm gonna contact everybody today. Maybe I can do FaceTime or something. I needed to have a conversation because if I text or email, people won't get back to me right away, and I need
Okay.
it to happen.
So
I know because I've texted
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that
So
before.
can I make a suggestion though?
Yeah,
What's the plan for the rest of the day? You guys are going to go watch the eclipse, but what's happening after that?
we have dinner planned.
Okay. So
We're making dinner because this is our last night in town.
Okay, you're making dinner. So you're staying home. Okay.
Yes.
So when is going to be the time that you're going to do this, and what are you going to tell people about this? Because you have to manage all those people today.
I still have to manage the people here. Yeah. Well, the eclipse is at 2:44.
Okay.
So at 2:30, we're going to walk over there, which is across the street. It's close.
Yep.
So I imagine that we'll be done by 3.
Okay.
What I can do is say, hey, between 3 and 4, before we start making dinner, I'm going to manage. I don't need maybe I don't need an hour. I don't know, but I need to.
Oh, you definitely need an hour.
Okay.
Haha, you're hilarious.
Okay, I can make it that between 3 and 4.
Is there anything else you need to do during that time? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Oh, I thought.
No, I'm just asking.
I'm like, is this a trick question?
Yeah, is there anything else you're forgetting or that you feel, because I'm just saying, because whatever you tell them, you want to keep. So if you're telling me you need an hour, but then you need an hour and a half, you see that?
Right.
When are you guys going to start making dinner? What time? You get to say. You get to say.
4 o'clock, I think.
Okay, that's early.
Well, yeah, it is kind of early.
Okay, so are you going to do it at 4 or are you going to do it later?
I think we'll do it later.
Okay, what time? I love how non-specific. Do you see how non-specific you are? You're doing it now.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is I can hear it in you. I can hear that you don't think it's up to you, but it is.
Okay.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what time are you making dinner?
Okay, we'll start at 5:30. It'll be ready by 6:15. It's not going to take long.
Okay. So, okay. And is that going to be okay with your parents, or do they like to eat earlier, later?
No, they're fine. They don't mind eating a little later.
Okay, they don't mind. Okay, good. So you're going to start at 5:30. So essentially between 3 and 5:30, there's an availability there. And
yes, there is.
So now you have to set up how everyone's going to interact in that availability. Hey, David, I'd like to work between 3:15, because remember, you're going to have to walk from wherever the eclipse is, right? So between 3:30, let's say, and 5, I need this time. And look, if you're done early, you're done early.
Right.
Maybe they can go to the pool.
Right.
Do you get where I'm going with all this?
Yeah.
This is people management. This is what it is for real. Like you're living it right now.
Right.
Right. And also you got to make
okay with telling people that they can do this or that.
That's right.
You guys can go here.
That's right. Hey, Mom and Dad, do you want to, have a cocktail while you're waiting for me to be done with dinner? Or, hey, do you want to help with dinner? Whatever. Like, I don't know what all needs to be done today, but what I'm trying to help you get is that it's your choice.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes, it totally makes sense.
All right, good. So go get them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's it on people management. I mean, that's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah, I feel like I've got so much to do. I gotta go.
Yeah, that's because you didn't schedule it.
I know.
That's it. That's the only reason why you feel that way right now, because you just didn't schedule.
Yeah, but I'm not in trouble. I mean, the week hasn't started with the other people yet, so
that's right.
if I don't finish everything schedule wise today, I can schedule
the
scheduling tomorrow.
Yeah, you can do stuff tomorrow. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, that was great. I think we'll keep the conversation going on this, because I'll update you guys on how I did.
Yeah, and classical cats. If you have questions
Yeah.
about it, if you have any questions about this and you're trying to work this out for yourself, feel free to post in Classical Cats group.
Yeah, and I'll post how my week is going in there. I'll keep you guys posted because you might want to try it for yourselves
Mm-hmm.
and know that it's a challenge for me. So I'm still learning it too.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah.
totally.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Eileen. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening today. Hey, listen, I have a huge favor to ask you, and it will only take a few seconds. If you like this show, one way that you can let us know is by writing a review on iTunes and subscribing to the podcast. Writing a review will help other people find the podcast and help us immensely. It will only take a few minutes. Just head over to iTunes and search for Crushing Classical. There you can write a review and click subscribe. Thanks again.